Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to City Skylines Mass Transit. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day, because I am certainly excited to be back here in the beautiful city of Nerdshire, where things are going very well indeed. We have medium demand for residential zoning. We have about medium demand for commercial and just slightly less demand for industrial/office zoning as well. $3.5 million and 60,917 citizens here as well. Last time we went ahead and built this, which is the airport, as well as the nearby industrial area, which is having some issues with, it's having abandonment issues, basically. There is still the remnants of a death wave going through the city at the moment, but that looks to be clearing up. But today, I'd like to bring the population up a bit. I'd like to go from having all this demand to pretty much having no demand, because I'd like to get people moving in. I'd like to bring that population up and get us nice and close to 75,000 people, the final milestone. We get the final area, we get monuments, and the international airport. Now, the international airport, I don't know if we'll use it. And I don't know if we'll use it simply because it would fit here. There's two runways, so we could sort of have the runways go along this corner down here. I'd have to do a lot of reworking on Airport Island, but, well, I guess we'll probably end up using it. It'd be a nice upgrade for this one. But speaking of upgrades for this airport, I've realized that the buses coming in here are, especially when they come in like this, they come in waves, because the buses don't separate up in traffic, annoyingly. But they come in waves and they start backing up all of the traffic that is on this road. And obviously that doesn't really apply to people that are getting off of planes, but they do still back up some of the traffic, and sometimes it can cause issues over here, which I don't like. I want my airport traffic to just keep moving. At all times, I want airport traffic to just keep moving. And as you can see, it's tailing back to here, and that is mostly buses, and that is mostly because they're waiting to pull in here and they're blocking traffic. So, my thinking was I could, by all means, move my buses to these roads back here. If I wanted to, I could put them back there, and that means they're going to have to loop around and do their thing and come back out, and they'll not interrupt traffic on this main road. Alternatively, I could bring a little one-way road from there, the whole way across to there. Obviously getting rid of the parking lots, but that would be a road I could put buses on. The thing is, they'll still back up a little bit. They'll just be backing up out here and then back onto the highway. So it's tricky. It is really tricky. I think what I'll do as a temporary measure is I'll go ahead and I'll move the bus stops to just be over here. So they're going to be in front of the train station, rather than directly in front of the airport itself. Because that means that a lot of these buses are going to move through without stopping, because actually what are they doing? Are they? Oh, they are. They're going to loop around there and go to the stops. But what that means is we're going to see a lot of people crossing over here to get to the bus stops. And that means we're not going to have buses on this main road in front of the airport terminal. What I'm also going to do is go ahead and change up these bits so that we... Actually, let me change up these bits instead. So these bits in the middle have the bus stops a little bit more in there, as you can sort of see. So that means that they might block traffic a little bit less. Why was that bus just was not moving there? Why are you not moving? They're straight up just sat in traffic. This one here, for some reason, just... Oh, there we go. It's working. But yeah, we should soon enough see this sort of work once the buses filter out. Either way, the traffic in front of the airport is not going to be a problem anymore. We shouldn't see too many problems with that at all, really. So that's good. That's pretty much solved my problem. What I'd like to do next, though, is stay on Airport Island, because I want to deal with a bit of industrial demand, deal with a bit of commercial demand. And I like the idea of sort of just outlining the island in keys. I know I wasn't going to do that originally, but I mean, I think it could be nice. I do think it could be nice to outline it with keys and sort of make it like this really built-up island, especially if we're going to do the international airport here at some point. Although I think I might just leave that for the time being, because I've done a lot of stuff with keys recently, and I don't think it's the most entertaining thing to watch in the world. So, unfortunately, I can't bring that road under there, which is a bit of a pain. I mean, can I bring this road under? No, I can't bring that one under either. I wanted to do some stuff out here. I really wanted to do some stuff out there, but I don't think it's going to let me because of the way the roads are there. Could I take an asymmetrical? I could take an asymmetrical road out there. That is most certainly a thing I could do, which I might do because I'd like to put a bit more industry out there. But I think what I'll do first is actually come back to the city and fill in this little space here, this little space down here, and maybe this corner as well. I think it'd be better to put residential stuff in first to really boost that population. So what we're going to need to do is move the water pumps to another area. And I want to get them in an area that has a water source like this one. So this area here has a water source, which is really useful. Over there has just a lot of flowing water. Over there's a water source. And up there is possibly a water source. I don't know. But I just want to space them around in places that are actually going to have a good flow of water. Otherwise, they'll just straight up drain it and won't get water, which obviously we kind of need. So I think over here is looking to be our best bet. So what I'll do is I'll actually throw some keys down over here just so we can get these really neat along the coastline. So we'll go from like there. Maybe not. We'll go from like there and just sort of curve it around right in the water. So like that and like that. And I think that'll work. So what I can do is I can go ahead and throw a pump there. How many of these are we going to need? We have 7 of them. 7 of them? 7 of them. So let's try and go for 8, which might be a bit much for this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. This might be a bit tricky. Getting that to go there is not going to be entirely possible, so we'll do that instead. And then 7, 8 of them. I'm not convinced that's actually going to work, because I have a funny feeling that's probably just going to drain the water because there's so many of them and the water there isn't actually that deep. But we'll connect to that point. We'll go ahead and we'll give them some power. There's a decent little bit there. So those are going to start working. They're going to start pulling up water. And yeah, they are absolutely draining the area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and level the terrain right there, so that the water is much, much deeper and therefore shouldn't be all that easy to completely drain beneath those pumps. Plus, with the water source there, it's going to be really tricky to actually drain that. And that right there looks much better. We should have shed loads of water, meaning we should be able to come over here and bulldoze these guys because we simply don't need them anymore. And if we have a little look, water availability still really good. These guys are working perfectly. And that's excellent right there. That is excellent. Really happy to see that. So let's try and fill in these little spots here. I kind of like the idea of just, I might continue that key down there a little bit, sort of just to like that point under the bridge, or maybe the whole way around. I don't know. It's really difficult to know when to stop with the keys because they do look really good around built up areas. Like this doesn't really make sense to me right here. I think that's kind of, that doesn't look like it belongs, you know, right next to a sprawling metropolis. So I think the keys really make sense in, well, that sense. But let's go ahead and try and line this up with the one that is just around here, which apparently I can do super easily, but they don't line up all that nicely. So if I could get those to just work slightly better. I mean, I guess that'll do. I can't really see the weird kink in it because it's under the bridge, so that's fine. That is fine by me. Let's go ahead and bring a little road just up to there, I guess. I think I'll also turn off the grid snapping. Yeah, that's the one we want to turn off to get that right up to the edge of the key. Then all we... Oh, that's not going to work for some reason. There we go. Then all we need to do is fill out the rest of this with a nice bit of dense zoning. And I think I will just put residential spaces in here. I think that's going to be really nice. That can actually be bulldozed for a second because I want it to line up with that corner. But yeah, I think just a lot of residential stuff in here will be absolutely perfect. I am going to move the elementary school to that point, I think, just across the road, so I can continue that road to there. All right, and then maybe this road could come down like that as well, just to fill in that little corner. Actually, that didn't line up perfectly, which is quite annoying. That's actually messed up the zoning on that entire road as well, which is just great. Love it when that happens. But there we go. That's absolutely perfect. That's quite dense as well, much like myself. So I like it. I do. I quite like that. What's more, I think, yes, I can bring this road straight through here and down to there. And that gives us just a little bit of zoning in there as well. Absolutely perfect. The lot of it is just going to be residential. People are going to be living right on the water. They're going to love it. They're going to wake up in the morning to the sound of a boat going by and a tourist yelling at the top of their lungs something along the lines of, what do you mean I can't take pictures here? It's a free country, right? Apparently the tourist was Gilbert Gottfried and having a problem with the pictures they were taking, because they were obviously taking pictures of people on balconies in their houses. Clearly, look, that joke wasn't well thought out. In my head, there was a sequence I was going to follow in my brain, and then as soon as I started talking, my brain forgot. All right, it happens. I'm old. I'm very, very old. 23 is the new 65. 65 is not even that old. 23 is the new 103. There we go. So those guys can move in there. That's going to boost our population really nicely. I don't think the guys at the end are going to have water, though. So let's make sure that that doesn't become a problem by just giving them a little bit there. And same with these guys over here. We'll just give them a little bit of water, too, just to keep them nice and happy. And that should be good. That'll give us zoning right on the edge of the river. Now, coming back to the airport, the buses are doing their thing for the most part. I would really like to connect up these train lines, though. I just don't see a good way to do it, because my train line currently is over here, and I don't even know if I want to have passenger train lines on that stretch of train line, because that could cause problems with regards to even more of this traffic backing up. And also because I don't like the idea of passenger trains going through the industrial area. But I think that's going to be like an inevitable thing. Plus, I can turn off passenger trains if I really need to. Like I can click on this station and say, don't have intercity trains. And that will just stop regional trains from coming through. Although that doesn't make sense in a way, because I was going to connect it out to there anyway. So, wow, that's flooding right there. Why is that flooding? I just noticed that that's happening. That is really odd, actually. I think I'm going to try and fix that. I think I want to try and fix that, because what I can do is, well, no, soil availability is going to be a problem. But what I can do is I can sort of raise the landscape here a little bit, right? So just sort of along here, raise that landscape up. And we can try and like create a little channel for the water to follow. So if we raise the landscape there as well, we can sort of force the water down that way. I think that might be a good idea. Now we're out of soil, so what we can do is go in and sort of lower the terrain here as well, just to let the water properly flow through. So that right there should end up creating like a little mini river, basically, which I'm very much okay with. Let me just like lower all of that so it's all sort of on the same level. And like I said, yeah, little mini river should start flowing through there, which I think could look kind of cool. And will certainly stop the flooding that was going on down there. I would kind of like to get rid of the trees, though, because, yeah, they don't belong in the water. There we go. Much, much better. We have still got like a tree or two sort of touching the water, but that's kind of fine. In other news, you remember when I mentioned that we were having the aftermath of a death wave over in the city right at the beginning? I was like, yo, there's the aftermath of a death wave. Don't worry about that. It wasn't the aftermath. It was actually the beginning of a pretty major death wave in the city, which is a bit of a pain. We apparently don't have the crematorium availability for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to just put a shed load of crematoriums just around the city everywhere, because that can help with death waves. It's really annoying, the amount of crematoriums that you need in City Skylines, but it's kind of been like that since day one, so I don't think that's something that's ever really going to change. But it would be nice if it did, because really, you kind of need like a crematorium on every other street, really. So, yeah, that's not entirely the way these things work. But, you know, who am I to complain? I'm also, I think, I'm gonna bring the budget of a couple of things up. Like, my budget, my weekly income is dropping quite substantially. But I want to bring healthcare availability up to 150%, both day and night, even though we don't have night. I want to bring that up because that'll give us more hearses and more ambulances. Might be an idea to do the same with fire coverage. And I think I might do the same with police. No, I'll leave policing as it is. School budget, I'm going to bring up as well. And I want to see where that leaves my weekly income once that's all settled. It is going to drop into the negative, isn't it? Oh, wow. The population has dropped by like several thousand at this point. But where does that... I want to see where this comes to rest here. Because if I bring the population back up and that goes back into the positive, that's fine. I mean, losing 5,000 per week when you have 4.3 million is really not a big deal. But I think what I'll do is I'll bring fire coverage back down, because I don't think fire coverage is going to be as important as healthcare. So bring fire coverage back down, and that's bringing my budget sort of back up. Education, I'll throw into 120%. Again, bringing the budget back up to normal there, but that should give us more capacity in elementary schools. Same with high schools, same with universities. So that's brilliant news. We don't need more of those for quite some time. Also, most of the dead people have now been collected. The buildings are abandoned and will rebuild in about 4 weeks. I'm not going to bother throwing crematoriums out by the airport. We're just going to have to get hearses to drive out that. Well, actually, we could throw one over here. Yeah, why not? We'll throw a crematorium just, I don't know, there, I guess. Throw a crematorium there, and that can collect people at the airport if needs be. That's really not how crematoriums work, though. It's like, yo, someone's dead, go get them. Like, that's not really... That's not really the process, is what I'm getting at. But, speaking of processes, I've actually forgotten where I was and what I was doing. I think I was gonna connect up the train lines. I think that's where I was going with this. So, let's try that. Let's try, I guess, connecting this train line over here to the region, and we'll turn on regional, train lines, because we really might as well. So that's gonna go 10 and up by 6. Actually, we have the room to do this a little bit, more reasonably. So that's gonna go there and up by, I believe that's 3. Up by another 3. Then up by another 3 and across the road. Yep. All right. Then up by another... Actually, no, that's fine right there. So, it's not a perfectly even slope, but it's very close. As for crossing the river here, I would like to go straight across like that. So something like that would be spot on. And then what I can do... No, I can't. Well, if I did that, can I get a neat little curve going there if I turn on road guidelines again? And will that look okay? Kinda. Doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. Right. So, if I do that and sort of that, and do a neat little curve sort of there, that looks alright to me. It's a bit weird, but that looks okay-ish. Let's try and bring this train line back down then. So down to there, down to there, down to there, and it's on the ground. All we need to do at this point is connect it over here. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to go for something very similar to this, just so we don't have a lot to deal with here in regards to actually connecting this. So what I'll do is go there and forward by 10. Then that can just connect, like, let me see, there, and I guess that can just connect there. They are both connected. That's connected and that's connected, so that works. That is perfect. All we need to do at this point is bring you forward a little bit, then curve them around like that. And that's not connected to the region, so what we can do is go ahead and say, hey, why don't we allow intercity trains? Although I realize I also really should connect up both of these lines. That's gonna be a pain. That's gonna be such a pain. Alright. How are we gonna do this? Because I did not think about it. So that's the height I think that needs to be. Yeah, looks roughly like it. So, like that. And then another one? I guess we just make 3 parallel bridges. I guess that'll work. That right there is the line that we need to be on. So we need this track to end there. And we need this track to end there. Then this needs to go 10, up 3, 10 and up 3. And then I think it was like 9 and up 3. Then we do the same just here, where we go down and connect. Okay. So that's fine. Now all I need to do is curve these in slightly more than the other one. So that goes like that, and that goes like that. That looks okay. All right, that's actually kind of surprising. Did not expect that to work. Because then all we can do here is slope that down a little bit and slope that down a little bit. We'll actually finish these slopes while we're here because we really might as well. Then one in the middle is going to slope up a little bit and then to there. And then they just get connected really, really simply like that and like that. And that looks pretty good to me. I don't expect those lines to all get used, if I'm honest, but we have a nice little like passageway there if boats need to go through. And at this point, really, the bridges don't line up. Ah, those 2 slopes are actually different. Oh yeah, because I kept that bit level, didn't I? All right, well, actually, we're going to fix that. So this is so unnecessary. This is so unnecessary what I'm doing here. I'm sorry. But I do happen to like aesthetics, and I do happen to like it when things all line up really neatly, so you're going to have to put up with it. So those line up really nicely. What I want to do is go pretty much like that. And then pretty much like... I wish I could do that, because that would line up so beautifully. It's really a shame that it doesn't, actually. That it doesn't work. Because that would be so nice. Can I get rid of that and do it? Would that maybe work? No. Oh, that really is a shame. That really is just such a shame that that doesn't work. What about a freeform bit? No. Man, that sucks. That really sucks. So we'll curve that back around then. If that's a thing we can reasonably do, which we sort of can. Huh. Maybe this bit here just curves into there. guess that works. That'll have to do. I mean, this track here is going to get super busy super quickly, but that's just going to have to be the way of things. So yeah, that's going to be a way for trains to, you know, pass straight through into the city. One of these can maybe go off that way and sort of head over there and maybe connect up with the industrial area. One of these can eventually go straight into the city. I really would like a central train station as well. And I'm thinking we could potentially clear out an area like Washington Square here and have one of these central like end train stations. It would just mean, actually no, I'd probably do it over towards Sunset Heights because then we can bring it straight up through here. Well, maybe a through station because then we can have the tracks sort of go up and down along here. I don't know. I don't know if I'd need a through station or even the central one without having the 21 tiles mod. I'm not convinced that that's a thing I would ever need. But we can get regional trains, and there are people actually waiting for them, which is pretty cool indeed. Hopefully we'll see some people interested in coming to the city via train. Airport is still as busy as ever. The buses are still as busy as ever. I think I might throw a blimp over here as well at some point. But let me get back to a thing that I was considering for Airport Island. I'm sorry, I've been all over the place today. But the thing I was considering was putting down some helipads and all of that stuff. So what I'm first going to do is connect that and connect that because I can, really. That simple. I can connect those because then what I can also do is bring the asymmetric roads out. So we'll go 20 units out with the asymmetric roads from there and 20 units that way. And what we can do with those is put, you know, helipads out there or put whatever we want out there, really. I could also bring a bit of highway off of here if I wanted to, and I'm definitely considering it. You know, maybe going with a little 10-10 curve there like that and then like straight up into this area. That could work. It might very well cause issues with industrial traffic, but I think I'll do it anyway, just to bring a bit of variety to the area, you know? So we'll do that, and we will do that. And those line up perfectly, actually, which is really good news. So let's turn that into a highway stretch, and let's turn this road into a standard road and this one into a bit of a standard road as well. Let's actually make that a good length. So that's going to be 5, and that's going to be 5 as well. Just so we have a little even corner there to work with. As for over here, I think we're just sort of going to have it make the same shape, but it's not really going to connect up to the highway on that side. I think that would probably be a bit unnecessary, because well, actually, in saying that it's unnecessary, I mean, emergency traffic does need to like go out that way and around if it wants to, you know, move around that area. If you want to go from the airport to the industrial zone, you go out here onto the highway, back in, around this, and then in there. Like, it is a bit ridiculous, but it moves, you know? It flows, and that's kind of what we're going for. I almost went full Christopher Walken there as well. With the it flows, I'm not going to try and like do... I haven't done my bad Christopher Walken voice in so long that I'm not even convinced that I can do it badly anymore. Which makes me sad, really. I love doing a bad Christopher Walken impression. It's like he has like my favorite voice in the world. Anyway, let's get some helipads and stuff out here. This isn't really an area that I think would make sense for helipads and all that. I do think it would be over closer to the airport, but I'm going to throw them out here anyway, just because it's kind of out of the way, really. So we'll put a couple around like that. The medical one can go... I don't know, we can put the medical one there, actually. So move that one to there for a second. Give me the medical one there. They are all different sizes. I'd really like to line them up, actually, so that the helipads are all sort of back to back. But that's tricky to do, because those two can't actually sit beside each other. Are these two able to sit beside each other? I don't think they would be. No, I don't see any way that this would actually let these all sit beside each other. Unless I maybe move them over there. But then that puts them way out of the way. Yeah, those two do get to sit beside each other, but the helipads are not really facing each other the way I'd like. I guess what I could do is put this one... No, that's not going to work either. Let's just put them like this. So that building sort of runs up between them like that. Then the helipads are on opposite sides. I think I could do that over here. I know this doesn't matter, by the way. I know that the orientation of these things literally doesn't matter. They are designed for helicopters. But I have the money that it really doesn't matter that I'm moving them around so much. So we'll do that. These two both feed out onto this street. I think what I'd like to do is put this one over here, if I can, which I can't because of the terrain. So we'll bring the terrain up a little bit so I can go ahead and get my third and final helicopter thing here. So that would go there. And I think it looks cool. I really do think it looks cool. We've got the helicopters heading out already. Those guys don't currently have power. Bit of an issue. But I think what I'd like to do as well is just bring these roads around a little bit. So something like that, and then bring this road over and done like that as well. Just so they're nicely surrounded, you know? This one's a little trickier. It isn't going to have a road going around it. But what we can do is we can throw in something like, we could throw a prison over here if we wanted to. I'll throw a large police station there. And a large fire department right beside it. Which means we could probably, oh no, we've got a large fire department over here already, but I mean, whatever. We'll keep those there. For this little road here, I don't really know what to throw on it. I think, you know what? I think I will throw the prison out here. Just in that spot. I mean, it's right beside an airport. So if they do make an escape, they have a pretty easy way out of here, to be honest. But I don't think that'll happen. I don't think prisoners are gonna grab a plane and book it out of here. At least I certainly hope they don't. I think I'll also throw in a couple of incineration plants out there. Just to really like bring up the flow of garbage in the area. As for water, let's go ahead and bring out the pipes in the standard way, and I think that'll actually do the job for all of them. Yes, it does. So the garbage trucks are going to flow out. We're going to have the emergency vehicles flow out as well. We'll see how this road handles it. I am very curious to see if that road manages to keep up. I do think it's going to be a good idea having a quick way in here. I think that'll be really good for garbage trucks returning to the area. And I do kind of like how this looks. I think that's a nice little addition to that space in the island. Now let me go ahead and just bring some keys around that corner. Because I think that would make sense. So these rocks and all that are going to go. And the key is... I think I might try and curve it a little bit. I was trying to keep it very straight and angular over here. Because obviously that's an airport. But as we get closer to this corner, I think we'll go ahead and make it a little bit more natural looking because it's a helipad. It's not as well, maybe we'll keep it angular. I think we'll try and keep it relatively angular because it does look kind of cool having all these harsh angles on the island. It looks very different as well because the opposite island, like the city island, is all curvy and stuff. I said curvy in a really weird way there. But the city island's all curvy and all that, so having these much harsher angles around this island, I think, makes a nice difference. I mean, we could sort of break the rule for here, I think. If we just brought that back a little bit. You know, extend that straight on slightly, and then just sort of around like that. Because I think that bit can be curvy. In fact, I think everything on this top end of the island can just be curvy in general. This bit's going to be tricky to work with, but we'll deal with that in a minute. What I'll do is take those bits out and curve it. Take those bits out and let's see. Curve it. No. No. All right. This is going to have to be done slightly slower. Like that, I guess. I guess that sort of works. I'm not a big fan of this curve here. Not really a big fan of that at all. That's a bit better. This corner is obviously going to be less angular as well. I think that's okay. And this little bit here as well, I think we'll just make less angular. The bottom bits I will keep really, really pointy, I guess. But these upper bits I think look slightly better. Like, it kind of makes sense, like I said, for the stuff around the airport to be really angular. The stuff here probably would be as well, but I think it's going to look better if I don't do it that way. So let's see. That looks pretty good. And this looks kind of decent, I guess. Bring that to there, like that. Yeah, I like that. And then maybe this one too. Like I said, right by the airport, we'll keep it super, super pointy, but the rest of it can be slightly curvy. So that looks pretty good. We have obviously got the keys right alongside all of this stuff. We have a lot of helicopters flying back and forth to the city, which I like. It's more air traffic for this area, which is really good stuff. We've got the first of the garbage trucks coming back in there. A lot of prisoners, actually. 85 of 500 prisoners. What are you in for? Visiting prison? I don't think you're visiting, mate. I feel like visiting is the wrong term there, buddy. I really do feel like visiting is not the term that you use in that regard. Oh yeah, I'm just here visiting, man. Oh yeah, why are you wearing the orange jumpsuit? Shut up. That's not quite the same thing. Not quite the same thing at all. But okay. We do have demand for quite a few things down here, so I mean, I think we do need to work on expanding the city a bit more. I would really like to flesh out more of this island over here, but I think we'll leave that for a little bit of time. Because I like the idea of sort of bringing the city up here to this weirdly shaped bit and sort of around it, because what we can do is we can put more boats in there. And I think that would look really nice. I also think I want to change one of my boat lanes. Specifically this one with the orange boat line. And the only reason I really want to change it is because I like to consider that like the tourist line at the moment. So what I'm going to do is make it look like it's giving you a tour of the city from the water. It's taking you out, you know, through the rivers and all that, like around the airport, which I think will be a really cool thing, like going around the airport and having these planes going overhead, going under the 3 bridges here, coming around here and like seeing all this side of the island and all of that, I think would look really cool. Under the 2 highways there, sort of swerving around a little bit through those trees. We'll not worry about that. We could go out and around that island, I think. Then we'll point that way. And we'll sort of come straight across there and connect up like that. Maybe give that a bit more of a nice curve to it. Something like that. Something like that. There we go. That looks all right. So that means that orange line is just gonna have to move. Basically. Or does it stop there? No, the orange one doesn't stop there. It does stop there, though. Oh, I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. I really didn't think about that. Right. Let me delete the orange line for a second, because I want to make this work. So, Ferry Line 2 is going to go. What we're going to do is have it start there, go there, and then can I get it to go out and around, or is it going to be like, no, we're going the short way? Yeah, it's going to go the short way. So what that tells me is we need like a ferry stop over here. Which is a pain, but I might do it just to get people over here. So let me just very quickly throw... let me just very quickly bring the key around here. So what I'll do is I'll level the terrain out a bit so we can get a nice edge on it there. We'll bring that there out a little bit as well so we can get the key going. Level all of this a little bit just so we can get a nice bunch of curves going with the keys. So we'll do that and let it do its thing. And if we grab the key, we can sort of bring it to that point. Then curve it out a little bit, if at all possible. No, there's a boat lane there. I'm gonna have to get rid of that. That's fine. The boat lane does get a bit close to land, but that's probably okay. So then the key is gonna have to come out like that. Now that does have a heck of a curve to it, but I can bring this bit straight along, which is okay by me. Then curve that to there. Bring that down to there. And straight to there. Actually, let's just bulldoze that and actually do a straight run to there. All right. Bit of an angle there, but I mean, if I'm just a little bit clever, I can do a slight curve. There we go. So that runs around the whole island. What I'll do is I'll throw a ferry pier over here. Just so we can bring more boats here if we so desire, that is, if we deem it necessary. So that can come in there, and this can run all the way around. It's gonna have to go under there, which apparently water is acquired. I'm pretty sure there is water there. Let's bulldoze that. And do that. There we go. Bring that through to there and there. There we go. So what we can do is we can go back to this incomplete line. We can get rid of that. Well, we can drag that stop. So drag that stop. Go out to there. Or apparently don't. Are we not editing that line? No. Alright. So we start here. We go here. We go there. We come out and around and to there. And then I'm tempted to say we come back this way. Maybe stop in there. And then all the way back to here. And then we just sort of loop around like that. I think that could be kind of cool. So what I'll do is I'm going to change that line back to orange. Obviously. And we'll see how that goes. Obviously going to be a lot of boats there. More boats than we actually need for that line. Especially since one of the stops isn't actually connected. But we'll not worry too much about that. Details, details, ladies and gentlemen. Details, details. I mean, I could, by all means, get that to actually connect, I think. And if I can get that to line up, which, I mean, I can. It is technically connected. As for power, I mean, I could run industry out there. I could run offices out there. I think I might run offices just to give it a connection for the time being, and it gives me a bit of zoning and a bit more money. So we'll run some offices out to there, and we'll run some water out to that spot as well. So something a bit like that. Eventually they'll build round, and eventually this will have a power connection, and eventually people might even opt to use it, but I seriously have my doubts. But either way, I mean, it looks cool. It's nice having boats going around the airport island there. It's nice having more air traffic as well with the various helicopters. I do think it's really cool seeing the helicopters just sort of patrolling. Actually, if I was to go and click on that one, just right there, you, police helicopter, you're searching for a criminal. We'll go and follow you because it looks much more interesting. But yeah, it is really nice having all of this air traffic across the city. I really, really do enjoy seeing the helicopters and the blimps and all that stuff, the airplanes. Just everything sort of doing its thing, really. It is really, really cool. Now, this is powered as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm gonna leave it there for today. I'd say we've made some fairly interesting changes. We've got a lot of buses still there. Quite a decent number of people using this, I think. It looks like most of them are coming into the city and maybe going to the airport. I know a lot of those will be tourists who are technically visiting these parks. Yeah, these parks. But but that's kind of okay. It just makes this area really busy, and I'm quite okay with that. I know we still haven't dealt with a lot of the traffic problems, such as this and this, but again, we will deal with that eventually. That'll be something that gets sorted at some point. I don't know when that point will be, but I'll get to it eventually. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for watching. Thank you kindly. It's been an absolute pleasure. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.